I mean, they said I was a vibe, but it's like, it is beautiful out here today. A beautiful Saturday. Finally feeling like every little bit of summer, how it should be feeling in June. Every little bit of June is giving. Okay, it's definitely giving finally and gratefully. Child, especially for those who are on the East Coast, I am so grateful for this weather. Okay, so anyway, I'm just a little bit taken back out here, in the park, and I'm telling you, they were just out in the pond. The ducks, like they were just in the pond, and then like all of a sudden, I looked to my left, and they all out here on the side, chilling and cleaning themselves and all that. Like like they just came on out of the pond. That is so like refreshing. Like that is just like so surreal to be one in nature, honey. Okay, for it to be just right to my left and they just chilling. I don't know if it was my vibe that brought them out, cause no, they weren't there. They was out there swanning. They was out there swanning, and I posted up, and then all of a sudden I look to the left and they're there. Like, woo. I mean, they said I was a vibe, but it's like, let me stop. Anyway, so what's coming to mind, honestly, for this video, I really don't have a topic pinpointed on it, but as I'm like just thinking about weight loss, maintenance, weight management, GLP-1 medication, no GLP-1 medication, you know? What the core of weight management really is. How to achieve and sustain a comfortable level of weight management. Being able to maintain your weight comfortably, um, in accordance with your routine, but understand that your routine is a lifestyle. And within that lifestyle, have some lenient allowances. But everything still should be able to map itself out scientifically. Yeah. I mean, I find myself thinking about this often as I'm in maintenance, on the once a month injection. But what are we going on? 4, 5, 6. We going on 6 weeks without the injection so far. So pushing it. In my fridge gonna still do, you know what I'm saying? But trying to figure something out. Just trying to see something real quick. You know what I mean? It's good. I'm definitely about experimentation. Okay, I'm definitely about taking on challenges and challenging myself. So within this, I'm challenging myself to see, will my weight still remain within my range, without me injecting GLP-1 for 60 days. So yeah. And how, just moving about with more focus and intention on daily movement, on fiber incorporation and protein incorporation more than ever before, because the GLP-1 is not really all the way in the picture like it was from the previous injection. It has tapered pretty much off. So with that being the case, there's going to definitely be a reintroduction of food noise more than it was when I was really under my fresh once a month dose. So I have to be able to see how my weight pans out with the remaining incorporation of the same systems of practice that I do, fasting and hitting a certain amount of steps a day and weight training, 3 or so times a week. Now I'm pretty much at the 20K step thing. Not pushing 25K, whatever happens, but I make a point now to get 20K steps a day. I feel like it's appropriate for me to graduate to kind of like the next level because, in a sense, depending on, individual goals and my goal in achievement of, a certain fitness aesthetic and, you know, you know, trying to eventually get down to a certain body fat percentage and have a certain type of physique. I definitely have to, keep in mind, the energy expenditure and the fitness part of it. You know what I mean? I to maintain a certain aesthetic and even for purposes of body recomposition to burn off a little fat in certain areas when you're trying to cultivate a physique, you know, and you have already, become smaller, which is going to take a little bit more effort on your part because you're smaller, and I'm speaking in reference to myself, but those who are smaller now, trying to advance to a certain type of fitness aesthetic, I believe can relate, can understand this, that 10K may not be enough, it's just enough, maybe, at a certain point, but, given the scenario, a situation I just presented, probably would not be enough to, actually get to that goal, to burn a little bit more fat, you know what I mean, in a certain area to achieve a certain aesthetic. You probably have to go up to 15K or 20K. So for me, I love walking, okay? All right, I love walking. It definitely, this is that, because it's so sustainable. No matter what level you approach it on, it is. And it's just a perfect situation to graduate levels as well. You can remain at a low level. You can start to, increase your level of walking. Like I have, I increased my level to 20K daily. And, I'm cool. I rock with it. It's easy for me to incorporate it in my everyday life. It's set up systematically for it to end up taking place. You know what I mean? You got to be intentional in the lifestyle in order to get certain results, to get an aesthetic, to get certain results. It takes deliberate intention and discipline. And in a sense, gradual, I wouldn't say really overload in that sense, but gradual elevation, like the elevation in the steps. So in the morning, I know I get a good portion of the steps already. I get like 75% of the total steps already because I make an intention to walk a certain number of steps on my walking pad. Non-negotiable. That's just, it's easy. It's not hard for me to achieve. I get up, I brush my teeth, walk my dog, come back, hit the pad. Exactly like that, systematically every single day. In order for it to not happen, I would really need to not feel well in my body. Other than that, it should happen. I'm conditioned for it to happen. I'm trained for it to happen, and there's no reason why it really shouldn't happen. walking. You know what I mean? Um, get most of them right then and there. Go off to work. By the time I get to work, and then general, moving around in reference to that and just period, I didn't reach my goal already, a 20K, and probably even went over a little bit to 22. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I've already have experienced. I've already collected the data, okay, each day. And because I really am kind of like a personality A type person, I really can go with a structure, a system. And that's really, I feel like that's the best way to live life in general, especially for me. I have to be systemized. There has to be an order of the day. You understand? There has to be an itinerary in some way. You know what I mean? Doesn't An itinerary doesn't have to be relative to a vacation. I have to have an alignment of a schedule of some sort in my day when I'm waking up, so I can stay aligned. You know what I mean? And my mind can stay assertive, and I know what my moves are. I don't have it's not gonna take me going off course like that, especially when it comes to weight management. You know what I mean? Especially within weight management, there has to be a system of order in place, and that's definitely a personality A type thing. I am that, but it is what it is. I appreciate being that because I can stick to things. I get all the steps. By the end, yeah, it seems to be benefiting me well, benefiting my body well. I really can see it being a primary maintenance tool. Like, why not? A primary maintenance tool for weight management. Because regardless if, people want to agree or not, to me, like, one of the primary tools is energy expenditure. Like, what are you burning every day? That needs to be a conscious, just as, a calorie amount is being, of conscious mental note and all of that. The amount of calories burned needs to be a mental note, okay? Physical calories that you're burning through movement. And that's why adhering to steps is an easy way to grasp and do that concept. You know what I'm saying? Making sure you get enough a certain number of steps kind of like guarantees you a certain level of calorie burn. Especially if you're walking at the appropriate pace. You're walking with intention and not lollygagging, and you're walking long enough. When you do a good amount of cardio, because that falls under cardio, zone 2, if you are walking at a good pace, like a 4 pace or close to it, you know what I mean? You're going to get definitely a good level of calories burned. I know by the end of my walks, I didn't burn over 1,000 calories, you know, and that's underestimating typically what the number is. Just giving the possible effect of lack of correction when you're looking at numbers on the device. You know what I'm saying? They're telling you you burned a certain amount. You look at it on the nutritional label, it says it is this amount for calories and all that. Everything is subject to error. It is not exact. So given that idea, I would like even underestimate 200 or 300 calories off of that. So even like underestimating, I still burn at least 1,000 calories. And then at the end of the day, I'm still burning over 500. You good if you burning at least 500 calories. And you should. Between need and your basal metabolic rate. But as far as your intentional calories burned, it should be burned at least 500 calories. That shouldn't be hard to do, especially if you're making sure you get your steps. Even if you get 8K, by the time your day ends, you should have burned at least 500 calories. That can help you towards weight loss. That can help you towards fat loss if you're in body recomposition. That can help you towards just overall maintenance, just staying the same and giving yourself, extra wiggle room. If you wanted to get fancy with 500 calories, you have the opportunity, you can. Um, you know what I mean? Like, it gives you an allowance of food freedom, period. So I don't think people should look at it as being a negative tool or, a psychological situation. I don't think so. I mean, I think it should be considered for what it is. Science is science, math is math. If you felt like you ate a little bit too much, there's nothing wrong with adding a little extra on to your usual workout so you can burn a little bit more calories. That's actually wise. And I would think the body would want that. Because I know if that was me, I would feel a little bloated. I would just, I would want to put some more in because I got the energy to burn it. If I took in all the food or whatever, I got the energy to burn it. Put it to use. Burn the calories. You know what I'm saying? Lift some weights and then go do some steps. You know what I mean? Or go do an elliptical. You know what I'm saying? Or go ride a bike, a stationary bike. Like, there's options. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this because I know people, they really get into the land of low, can't think of the word. Uh, the land of enablement. You know what I mean? They want to be pampered. You know what I'm saying? Self empathy and all of that. And I do have that completely because I was there. But now that I'm no longer there, I see that there's a better way and that it can be maintained and that the body is designed to want to move, is going to crave to move every day more than the average is going to work. You know what I mean? If you want to really tap into youth rejuvenation, you know what I'm saying, and you want to really, you want to feel younger, you want to present the aesthetic of being younger as well, moving the body consistently and nutrition. For me, preferably whole food, plant-based pescatarian over here. You know what I mean? Whole food, plant-based should always be incorporated whether you eat meat or not. Plants need to be in your life. Their fiber, their life, oxygen, food, water. You know what I'm saying? It's nutrition that the body needs. Out of anything in general, moderation is the key. Don't overconsume, and utilize your energy expenditure at will when you're supposed to. Let that take care of you, because that is the bottom line. You burn it off, you good. People don't want to accept that. Like, if you burn off enough calories, then then you are consuming. You're gonna lose weight, or if you burn off just as much, pretty much, of what you're consuming, whatever that formula is you want to balance out and maintain. But you're able to eat more calories to match up to the level of energy expenditure you're putting out. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm the type, I'm eating that maintenance or just a little bit low just to be safe, just in case, okay? With all the other fluctuations that be going on with me, call it what you want, but that's what I do. You know what I mean? I eat at my maintenance, or I eat a little bit less. You know what I mean? But if I happen to slip past my maintenance, I know that I get cleaned up anyway with my daily expenditure. It always cleans me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like the best tool you got in your pocket. And then it does so much more else for your vitality, your health, your longevity, versus somebody who doesn't incorporate cardio on a daily basis or weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? Multiple times a week and for long enough. We're not talking about just doing, 10 minutes of cardio. I'm telling you, the people that really do tap into long form, long stay cardio on a regular basis, they are the leanest that you have seen. They are the leanest they can be. They are the healthiest. You know, their balance and their hormonal balance and all of that, I'm definitely seeing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely feeling like that partially with me, about that fit lean life. A mindset I never had, but now I have the mindset. Ever, never was going to be in presentation like this, but now I am. I accept change and I welcome it. And I'm going to maintain it. And I just want to see how more, I can perfect myself in certain ways. Not even perfect, because no one's perfect. I'm not looking for perfection, but how I can clean up my presentation in certain ways, which is necessary when have such a drastic weight loss. I mean, in general, I've lost 154 plus, and I ended up going to 125. Yeah, 154 plus in general. That's a combination of 100 and so pounds, not being on GLP-1 before I ever knew about it, losing that, and then once I got on GLP-1, that helped me with the remaining combination of that. I've lost a lot. So there's things to clean up, which is what I'm getting done with Sonobello. And then I'm probably going to have to eventually, after that, I'm going to have to schedule another procedure to clean up my arms, because my arms will be the last to be addressed. I have to do a version of an arm lift, not too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to get the skin pulled on my arms. So that thing all planned out. To be small, child. To be small, and nothing wrong with it. To be my level of small. I mean, now y'all just right up and like closer. Y'all just a little closer to me now. I think I didn't talk enough. Y'all need to see they is really out here close. Beautiful. Let me go on about my business, y'all. It's so good out here, though. Thanks for listening. Okay, it was like just a little rant. So don't be afraid to be fit. Okay, don't be afraid to get fit, which is whatever your level of fit is, as long as this is a healthy incorporation of physical activity, which is the energy expenditure, okay, and healthy nutrition on a regular, consistent basis, okay, weekly, and which is multiple days within the week. You know what I'm saying? And staying consistent and disciplined. You're golden. You're absolutely golden. And if you're using GLP-1 medication, take your medication at the appropriate, scheduling that's appropriate for your situation that you discussed with your physician. If you're in maintenance and you're trying to taper off, gradually titrate yourself down in dosing schedule, and possibly titrate yourself down in the level of dose if that's appropriate. See how you can gradually make some, decreasing modifications, whether it's your dosing schedule or your dosing level. And then continue just your healthy systems of practice. Just continue them on. Your daily movement and your nutrition. Whether you're a faster or you're not, you eat 3 meals a day. Make sure they're balanced, calorically. And that's tea. And that's tea. Okay, boo? I'm going to see you in the next video. Be real.